I want to take you for a ride.
Take me for a ride, Tim.
Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics is finally here, and I can't believe it. The world can't believe it. We have Justin Wong out here slapping fools on the internet.
My favorite is him tweeting out like a picture of the game on his Switch and being like, "Time to play with the Switch players," and all the players like, "No, get the fuck away."
Please don't do this. Have you heard about this, Greg?
No.
Justin Wong, who's like iconic fighting game, like
pro player,
who's incredible. He is just dominating the leaderboards and like going on every system and just destroying
killing
people.
people.
Destroying people.
I love that.
And it's just awesome. But anyways, besides him, which I'm having such a great time watching that whole saga, I had one of the best weekends of my life just playing through these games. And like, it's Marvel vs. Capcom is always going to be one of my favorite games. And it's definitely a perfect example of a game that I am horrible at.
Dude, same.
Absolutely horrible at, but it does not matter because it's so fun, and everyone here knows how much I love Marvel. I also very much like to love Capcom. You put those things together, it's going to be a great time, but there's something about the presentation and style and video gaminess of these games that is timeless, and they look so good. The CRT filters, the banners that they have on this stuff, everything about it is just so amazing and classic. And it's like, this is when I think video game, I think of this look and these sounds and the crunchiness of the sound effects and all of the same sound effects used over. Thank you. There we go.
Come on, dude.
Come on. But what's been super fun is I've always been, and I still am, a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 boy, where a lot of my Marvel history and character knowledge came from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I learned about Thanos for the first time from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I'm sure many people learned about so many of these characters for the first time. But what's really fun for me is back then when I was playing it at the Round Table Arcade,
the
last
Honest Pizza.
I remember I never had a Dreamcast, but I wanted to buy a Dreamcast just for this game. And when they finally put it out on PS2, I was there day one. Me and my friends were obsessed with this. None of us were good, but we played the hell out of it. And what's really fun now is, so that was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. My best friend Curran had Marvel vs. Capcom 1. We'd play that all the time on PS1 as well. But now that I'm older and now that I appreciate video games and Marvel and Capcom in such a different way, this collection is damn near perfect. And even if you're not a fighting game guy, even if you're not into, if you don't have much history with these things, it is so much fun to just bounce between the different games and kind of just see the lineage, see the history, see what characters were in the early versions and then in others, and realize that there's so many of these. The reason that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 has a 56 character roster is because they were just ripped straight out from the other games that they've made, where like there was such a direct lineage. And I know that this is obvious information to a lot of people, but as somebody that didn't have access to majority of these games, to see them start with X-Men Children of the Atom, there was essentially almost exactly just Street Fighter 2, but with X-Men.
Yeah.
And it's like the gameplay of it, it was 1v1, 8 characters that you get to choose from, going to the different locations. It is so, and the pace of it, the speed, it is Street Fighter 2. And Street Fighter 2 is a game that in my adult life, like I want to say in my like late teens, early 20s is when I actually played Street Fighter 2 for the first time. Like not just a couple quarters at arcade, but more like I got it for my Super Nintendo at a Goodwill and played through it and actually beat the game and learned the characters and all that stuff. Playing through, I played the, not career mode, but like
the arcade mode,
the arcade mode, like
a
arcade mode ladder for each of these games this weekend, just to see it through. And it's so fun to see how like this starts where it is just Street Fighter 2, and then they start to get their identity when you go through the like the X-Men versus Capcom, and then the Marvel superheroes, and like all of it just starts to grow on top of each other, and it is just awesome. Once Spider-Man gets introduced, the game is changed, and it's just so great to see him with his web swing and web throw and all the iconic stuff.
Webbing.
And like, look at these characters. Like,
the art, dude. The art is so good. As somebody who never was a fighting game guy, like I would go to arcades and just watch because it was so beautiful. It still is.
I mean, honestly, like I am such a big Spider-Man guy. this is the best Spider-Man design ever.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want Spider-Man to look like. Look at how big his eyes are, man. It's
Yeah.
just
Giant
perfect,
spider.
How he
man.
moves, how he poses.
And then, like, Kev, if you, I don't, it might be hard to find this, but like, we need to look at Gambit. We need to talk about Gambit.
Somebody's got to talk about
Because
Gambit.
I don't think anyone's ever looked cooler than Gambit in the Marvel vs. Capcom games. But anyway, I'm having such a fun time. And the thing that breaks my heart the most is, as much as Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is my favorite, and I stand by it, and like, obviously the gameplay is the best, and the 3-on-3, the insanity, just the fun of it all, that's all there. I just gotta be real as an adult looking at these things. The Marvel vs. Capcom 2 soundtrack is atrocious. It is a
Not wrong.
to humanity. And obviously I loved I Want to Take You for a Ride,
Yeah.
and I love the memes, I love all that stuff. And even all the jazzy stuff, I still love it, knowing it's fucking bad.
Yeah.
But then when you listen to the soundtrack of Marvel vs. Capcom 1, it's like, this is perfection. This is what video games should sound like. And then you look at the visuals, you look at the background of the stages of any Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and prior, and you compare it to MVC 2. Yo, what the fuck were they smoking, man? All this, the 3D clown and shit. It's like, they fucked up, man. Anyway, I just had to get those thoughts off my chest.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
But it's like, Greg, you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and the music changes depending on the character you're playing. And it's like their theme songs. When Mega Man pops in, it's fucking Mega Man music. And then when your character switches out, it's like all the X-Men have like unique Capcom-made themes, and they're bangers, man. This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside a lot in the sun playing some Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing my Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. You can try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. This episode is brought to you by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we'll always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims has treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments, online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/kindafunny. That's HIMS.com/kindafunny for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/kindafunny. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions, details, and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Can I say why I went to Evo and I had gotten an appointment to play the collection, and I went through all the games. I probably played like 10 minutes of each of the games on the, that were available on the thing, and I got to Marvel vs. Capcom 1, which is what's on screen right now, right? Yes. And it was my first time playing MVC 1, and I was like, this shit slaps, dude. Like, I was shocked. I like how it controls. I like it. It feels a bit more grounded than MVC 2, because MVC 2 just goes off the chain when it comes to like, we're gonna add every single character we know into this thing.
Well, you don't.
Yeah, there's something about the way MVC 1 moves and plays that I'm like, I kind of prefer this in a lot of ways. Now that said, now that we've got our hands on the full game, on the final game, and a few days ago I like sat down and played it for about an hour or so, just playing online. Man, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it is magical. Like, it is like, man, I can't believe this exists kind of game. My history with it isn't as deep as Tim's when it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's also a weird one where it's a game that I would see, I think, periodically at arcades, and I'll like try it out at an arcade, but I never got too deep into the gameplay because I never owned it. I would also see it online. Like there's this weird thing of I had a big Flash game era as a kid, like many of us did, right? We're just playing games on websites. And
I remember those days.
I swear to God that like there was some Flash Marvel vs. Capcom game that was available out there.
It was
Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's the big MAME. MAME. I think
Well, no, it wasn't that. But I know,
okay.
yeah, because MAME is like you can put anybody in there. Like
Yeah.
people are making fucking
Mugen.
yeah. They're making Bart Simpson fight fucking like
Goku.
Vegeta. Yeah. Like that was Mugen. There was like some and I don't know if maybe it was an emulator. I don't know what it was, but I would like seek that out all the time online, and it would like pop up and it would disappear. I don't know if that was like a rights thing or a copyright thing. I don't know if they were doing that back then.
They're just fucking running from the cops.
All I know is that like periodically I would find a Marvel vs. Capcom thing online, play it for a session, go, oh, this is amazing, and then the next night I'd try to play it and it'd be gone. But because of that, this game has always been kind of like this ethereal, mythical thing of I know Marvel vs. Capcom is out there, but I don't have a way to play it. It sounds like the coolest thing ever. As an adult, or as I got older, around college, I had a group of friends that were super into fighting games. Ceremal was like the leader of them. He was like this fucking 30-year-old man that had a PS3. And me and my friend Stevie would hang out with Ceremal, play a bunch of fighting games. That's how I got into Tekken. That's how I got into I got my butt smacked in Ultra Street Fighter 4. And that's how I didn't get into Street Fighter. And then he had Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on there somehow. And it was like a lot of us from our church from back in the day, right? It was me, it was Stevie, it was Ceremal, and then our friend DP. DP and Ceremal, they were like the older dudes in the group. Like I think around that time, both of them were close to 30. And me and Stevie would watch Ceremal and DP go back and forth in Marvel versus Capcom 2. And our minds would be blown because DP, we didn't even know he played video games. But he was just a fucking menace.
Savant.
He was a fucking menace at Marvel vs. Capcom 2. He would play Wolverine. He would play Sentinel. And he would just use like the move where Sentinel would like push his feet.
Yeah.
And he'd be, every time he'd do that move, he'd be like, back up. Like that.
That's all this stupid.
It
love
was
that.
so hilarious to watch him and Samuel go back and forth and be like, back up. And like, that was shit, man. This is the time of our lives right
That's
here.
so
Like, this is incredible.
funny. Dude, I had the exact same. This is so fucking stupid, but I remember being at Curran's house, and I would always play Mega Man in MVC1, and one of his specials, he just shoots a bunch of ducks out, and I would just start yelling "Ducky Time" at him, and he fucking hated it. And always getting destroyed by Mega Man's ducks was just like not the move.
And it was that game. It's almost like as much of a party game, it feels like, as much as it is a fighting game. Like, obviously, it's a fighting game, but there's a chaotic nature to Marvel versus Capcom 2 that makes it so that you can invite anybody over, and they're gonna have a good time because it is just you throwing out specials. It is like you're jumping all over the screen. The speed of it is insane, especially when you're playing on turbo. And I've been experiencing that this last time, jumping into it over this last week, playing online and being like, man, I cannot get down the rhyme and reason to this game. All I know is that I'm having a good time.
and that's a great place I want to catch up on here, because DeVinster in the chat says, I've never played MVC, would I still enjoy it without the nostalgia that you guys have? And I think the answer is, if you are interested in Marvel at all, if you're interested in that style of fighting game, the answer is easily yes. There's a lot here, and it is just fun, even if you don't know what you're doing. Just button mashing in these games is enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's so flashy, and the things that are happening are very cool, and you understand what's going on. I think it's a very readable fighting game, which is important. And also it's characters, like Iron Man and
Captain America, and
which is just cool,
Iceman.
right? But I will say these are arcade ports of all the games. So like there's no tutorial. There's no like onboarding process. These are games that were designed to eat your quarters.
Yeah.
Now the good thing is it's free play, so you can just continue as many times as you need to. But I will say, as somebody that is bad at these games and doesn't understand them, that has not changed. Like, playing through these, I'm just like, I wish that there was some level of like,
There's a training mode.
there's training mode,
Yeah.
but it doesn't train you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you play a new Mortal Kombat now, and it like
They're teaching the
there's a
mechanics.
tutorial of like, here's what's going on here. Here you just jumped in, and it's like you can pull up the actual. I love it. There's so much great stuff in this game of like being able to look at the old arcade cabinet art, but like on the arcade cabinets, there'd be that like the move list. You know what I mean? And it's just a shit ton of words and a shit ton of like directions. I'm like, this doesn't doesn't mean anything
Dude,
to
yeah,
me.
I guess for me, as somebody who's like, I'm playing all the fighting games that are coming out. I'm super into them. I look at the move list for this game and I'm like, fuck that. No, I'm not doing this. I ain't got the time to figure out what this notation is. Learning a new language.
Yeah, but it's great, man. I
Who's your
really
three?
feel I an MVC 3. I mean, here's the thing. Or MVC 2.
MVC 2, yeah.
MVC 2. Back in the day, I was such a basic bitch. It was Spider-Man, Wolverine, and
Me.
Wolverine.
Oh my
Because
god.
there's 2 Wolverines in the game.
Jesus
They
Christ.
let you do one has the bones and one has the
That's disgusting.
adamantium. But then in more modern times, again, I'm basic in a different way now. I've been playing a lot with I always got to go Spidey though. I still love Spidey. But Spidey, Gambit, and Chun-Li.
Okay, yeah, I'm rolling Akuma just because I understand how that character works. Start playing a lot of Captain America. I'm liking this guy. Fucking throw a shield all over the place, pick it back up, throw it again. And then Cyclops. Just because X-Men 97 has me in such a Cyclops mode.
And Cyclops looks dope as hell in this
He
game.
looks sick as hell.
But yeah, look, Greg, look at this. Look at the background. Look how stupid it looks.
It's all 3D.
Right?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Like it's just like, and I like how much the characters pop, like that's nice. But even the hyper combo background, like it lacks excitement. It's so dull.
The shadow of the character, these pixelated 2D characters.
And
being a
again,
3D
the
shadow.
music is just like this weird ass, like fruity jazz. It's like weird stuff. But then Kev, go back to MVC 1 just for like a quick comparison. Like MVC 1 is art. It's perfection.
It looks fantastic.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
honestly,
surprised we don't hear people
before,
talk about. I get that MVC 2 was probably the most exciting one. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't hear people talk about the first one as much.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm like, it's solid. Like, it's a solid ass video game.
yeah, great stuff here. Anyways, I could talk forever about this. Jossie G says, Tim, you got to check out Capcom vs SNK2 soundtrack. I do. You're right.
Yeah.
And then Portland Kevin says, didn't Greg fight someone in MVC2 at IGN where their job was at stake? Mark Ryan, I imagine, who was the demon.
Oh
at this
no,
game.
I think you're thinking of Colin. I think it was the son. It might have been in Extra Life where Colin and Mark Ryan did 100 matches.
That's insane.
and if Colin could win one, Mark Ryan would have to make him in charge of the channel or
that's
whatever.
so funny because dude, Mark Ryan was
insane.
nasty at
Insane.
MVC2. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
One thing I don't like about Marvel Capcom 1 and 2, and I've hated this since I was a little kid, when you hit X to accept your character, it gives you the alt colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always fucks me up. And there's no way to go back that I
Yeah.
know of. But use square, everybody.
There you go, Ryu
weird.
Square.
Use square.